at any point. So do please be there, and they will be there for you. So what do you say, guys? Are you just about ready to start the shebang?
Let's do it.
Yeah, one silent thing, and that's it. So we are going to start the shebang. We've got a very funny gentleman to be our host today. You may recognize him from the top boxes. Ladies and gentlemen, he has his own special on Amazon called Living Large. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome John G. John G, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, thank you, Jim. Thank you. And welcome, everybody, to the Pop-Up Comedy Show. A lot of great comedians here this evening. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun. Jim took care of all the housekeeping, so I don't have to do any of that. So, it's been kind of an interesting pandemic for me. And I know you're probably tired of everybody talking about the pandemic, but I mean, I'm kind of relishing in the fact that, in 4 months, I lost almost 40 pounds. And you would think it was because, you gain weight during this whole thing. But, with me, I actually had to cook for myself. And if you know anything about my cooking, number one, you wouldn't eat it. And number two, I'm tired of it. So I haven't really been eating that much. Now, the other day, I kind of went out and got some stuff from a restaurant. And I actually finished only half of it because that's how little I've been eating, which is, if you know me, that's like crazy. I started out this pandemic 2 weeks before I actually broke up with my girlfriend, and crazy time to do that, right? Because now I got nobody to quarantine with, and not really that I'm interested in dating, but thinking about dating during a pandemic is insanity, right? I mean, it's hard enough when you look like me, I mean, when you look like Santa Claus, I tried doing like Tinder, and when I did Tinder, the ones that swiped right, they expected me to bring presents, I mean, I don't know. And then somebody suggested that I try Grindr. I gave it a thought a little bit, but you know how hard it is to clean a beard afterwards, so I'm not into that, So, and then, to think about it, even if you're going out on dates, I mean, how do you social distance dating? You go to Starbucks or you go someplace and get a coffee, go find a park bench and sit 10 feet apart, not 6 feet because I'm a high risk category. So I'm going for the 10 feet, and, can you imagine like whispering the sweet nothings, hey, I think you got a nice ass, you're doing that across, across the whole bench and everything. So I don't know. The dating thing just doesn't seem to be the right way. And this whole online dating thing and everything, like I actually had one of the people asked me to send a dick pic, and I'm like, are you kidding me? At my age, the way I look, you really wanted a dick pic? I was like, no way. I'm afraid of getting arrested for kiddie porn. I just ain't into that. So, with this, beautiful facial hair and everything, my part-time job is kind of out for the end of this year. I do Santa Claus as a part-time job. And, I just can't imagine, how it's going to be. Can you imagine Santa Claus sitting there? And I think I even got a prop. I'm going to become a prop comic, I mean, can you imagine Santa Claus with a mask? I mean, the red suit scares half the kids. I'll scare the other half the kids with the mask. And could you imagine that too? If it just was a red mask that said "ho ho ho" on it, what am I promoting? I don't know, and then you got to think about it too. I mean, Santa Claus pays well, right? That's how I got into this, right? It pays like 150, 200 bucks an hour. Oh, I was in, right? But like, is 200 bucks worth the risk of getting corona? Because I mean, maybe if the kids aren't carrying it, maybe the elves are. I don't know. So I'm just not sure that's gonna be. And I mean, it doesn't have the same effect over Zoom. I mean, we see what comedy is over Zoom and everything, but I guess a Zoom Santa Claus might be the way to go at this point. Zoom Claus. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I was married. I was married for 32 years, and we got divorced and everything. But, you know, when we were getting married, I'm a Baptist. She was Catholic, and she wanted to go. She wanted to go have, go get married in a Catholic church, and with all the things that I've seen in the past years, like we had to go to these things called pre-Cana classes. I don't know if you guys, anybody knows what that is, or if you get married Catholic, but and I'm going to these pre-Cana classes, and I realized that, here I am, I'm getting marriage and sex and life advice from a 40-year-old virgin and a man who's never been married. So how does that work? And then they make you sign that your kids are going to grow up Catholic. And at this day and age, I'm glad I had girls. That was one of those pass by jokes that nobody really wants to deal with. Oh man. So, a couple of things that I did find really cool during this whole time period is I really haven't driven much. And I have a Pathfinder, so I guzzle a lot of gas, and the amount of money I've spent on gas in the last 2 to 3 months has been a fraction of what I would spend in a year. It was like I spent in the last 2-3 months what I would spend in 1 week. So I'm pretty happy that I don't have to drive so much anymore. Yeah. So I'm trying to find some other good things to take away from all this. It seems like the world is changing for the better. So yeah, we'll keep it going. I don't know. Do I got anything else I want to say, or should I bring up my first favorite comedian here? No, I think I'm going to bring him up. So we're really glad you're here. We like the laughter. I appreciate you guys chuckling at some of the jokes. Keep that kind of going. If you're in the audience, feel free to laugh out and go there. So I'm going to bring up a very funny gentleman. He's a good friend. He's performed all around the city. He's done a lot of things in comedy, been in comedy for a good amount of time. Let's give it up for Mr. Jordan Ferber. Jordan, come on up.
Oh, thank you.
Yay.
Yes. I'm glad this show was a pop-up, because this would have been pretty terrible if I had gotten excited about this. These Zoom shows are like, oh boy, are these terrible. Like these are almost like I feel like these Zoom shows are just like soul crushing, but also the best time I'm going to have all week. So thank you guys for being here. Terrible. Thanks for coming. I'm glad that we're all here. It's nice to be able to tell jokes to people instead of just my plants, because they're fake plants. So you can't trust their reactions. I do like that Zoom gives you the option of having the virtual background. I like having the virtual background, particularly, pretending that I'm in at a comedy club with that, with the brick wall. I prefer to feel like I'm in a dirty, dingy basement than staring at the four walls of my kitchen. It's a nice change of pace. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Have you guys been doing the Zoom shows? It's weird. People always ask, like, oh, how are they? Are they good? Have they been fun? I'm like, how is it relating to like the silence? I'm like, I've been doing comedy long enough. I can relate to the silence. That's never been my problem. I think the problem is trying to relate to my jokes that I wrote before this. Like, I can't do jokes that I wrote before this. They represent a life I no longer know, really. Part of it also is like, I used to do a lot of jokes about smoking pot with my parents, which was sort of a unique thing I found in talking to audiences. I feel like during this quarantine, a lot of people have discovered that they smoke pot with their parents. It's harder to find separate rooms to go to. And I don't know about you, but my parents are in their 70s. Nobody they know still delivers. Like I'm their guy. When they need weed, I'm the guy they call. I don't know. I've been getting through the quarantine. This July has been weird. There's fireworks still pretty much every night, starting before dark, going till 3 a.m. Those are fun. It's I think, neighborhood fireworks, the fun part really is if you can bet on what you think is going to be the finale. Even if the fire department shows up, that's still not it. There's still more after they leave. It's really a long game you got to play. It's hard to figure out. I lost $20 last week to a bottle rocket. I've been trying to get out. I've barely left my neighborhood. I did walk down the block. There's a bar that has a huge outdoor patio down the block for me that I managed to go to. And I got to walk like into the bar. I don't know if you've been into a bar in a long time, but I felt like a kid in a fucking candy store. I'm like, oh my God. What am I getting? What am I getting? I got drunk. That's what I got. I got drunk. But it was nice to just have that many options. And I got to say, originally I had a friend of mine we were talking about how when we get to go back to bars, like we're going to be very disappointed at the pour that we get, because I don't care how well you think you know the bartender. Nobody gives me as heavy of a pour as I give me. Like I know just how I like it. I got to say they were pretty strong at this bar, but they just want me to come back. There's not a lot else open in the neighborhood. I don't know. Friends of mine still getting, some of my friends are still getting unemployment. They're complaining, that the extra $600 runs out pretty soon. I'm like, I didn't get any of that shit. I got $1,200 from Uncle Donnie, and that's it. I still haven't gotten any unemployment. As a comedian, I don't even know how you can apply for unemployment. Like my whole career has been looking for work. I've been unemployed my whole goddamn career. That's the whole gig, isn't it? I feel like that's what I do. It's just, I'm hopeful that money comes in soon. It's nice to know that I'm not the only person on my Facebook feed that's broke and starting to feel the pressure, though. So there's that, there's at least that. A lot of people complaining about the dating. I feel like, I don't know how you date during the COVID thing. Like, cause like, I feel like anybody that's willing to meet you and like after like the first few meetings, like before COVID, already also like a creepy person. Like I would be like before pandemic started, I was still apprehensive about meeting somebody within 24 hours of matching with them on a dating app. Like that's a red flag. Somebody that wants to meet me real fast. Like, so now it's like, seriously, you think people didn't look like their profile picture before? Try picking them out of from 6 feet away with a mask on. So far, I haven't found a woman that's even willing to ride the subway. So, and I've been trying. I did find that I got more matches last year when I mentioned that I have central air. And I do, once I feel like there's some potential, I will send a picture of my balcony to a woman. And I let them know it is the only unsolicited deck pic that I ever sent. What else have I been doing to try to keep busy? I joined TikTok to give you an idea of how much free time I found myself having. I don't know if you're a guy. I feel like TikTok is probably the first app that I feel like I'm old enough that I have to say the TikTok for it. I think it's the first one. So I'm on the TikTok. I don't know if you guys are on the TikTok. They just came out saying that they might be banning the TikTok because it's Russian spyware. Or Chinese spyware, which they haven't, if that's true, I feel like there's going to be a report that comes out pretty soon that the Chinese have determined that American families cannot dance. It's weird what's happening on TikTok. I feel like it's like take your daddy to work day for 12-year-old girls. But there are celebrities on there. Like for some reason you can watch Bruce Willis lip sync to his own movies in Spanish. I don't know what that's about. He's apparently, with his whole family in there, but he's in all those videos alone. I don't understand why they won't TikTok with him. They all wear the same pajamas, but he's got a TikTok alone in a room. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger's on TikTok. It's mostly him feeding his donkeys that roam free in the house. I don't know if you're aware of how, Arnold Schwarzenegger lives, but he's got pet donkeys that roam the house and he feeds them on the TikTok. I guess there's also probably, a lot of anti-Semitism, but I don't really watch those. I swipe right past those. You can tell from the music right away. I'm a Jew, in case you haven't, seen in case you haven't caught my profile. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have been, it's always interesting seeing what other people are trying to do during this quarantine. I feel like a lot of people have taken up extra hobbies. I feel like, you've seen that on your profile. And I feel like a lot of people on my timeline have taken up investigative journalism. So that seems to be fun. They seem to be doing just slightly less investigating than actual journalists, but Stephen So, it's nice that there are people out there that know how to, we finally come to a point at Facebook where maybe we're sharing a little too much. I don't know, I haven't blocked anybody. I don't really block anybody. I think it's important to have somebody that you can yell at on there. I can't argue with my mother my mother is very my mother is like, first of all, my mother has never been somebody that holds and keeps opinions to herself. She's pretty, you never wonder what she's thinking. And she is, maybe she's so vehemently anti-Trump that like, she has cut out a lot of people that, are even like passing, she yells at people on the street that are not wearing their mask properly. Like, how dare you? You should work at a restaurant. You should be ashamed. It's like, and a lot of my friends, I tell that story to, they're like, oh, good for her. Yes. I'm like, yes, good for her. I got to walk down the street with her. I agree with the sentiment, but you can't, how am I going to have a conversation about the other assholes that I encountered while we're, still in, I can't keep up. It's just a lot to keep up with. She's even yelled at me on my own page. I went to my friend's bar that has an outdoor thing. I stood 6 feet away while taking a picture of the four of us at this table. And my mom yelled at me on Facebook about, not wearing my mask in a photograph. I don't know. I think the good thing that's going to come out of this is that, we're all going to be better at the self-taped auditions that we're going to send in beyond this, because we know how we look on camera. We're getting better at this online stuff, I feel like. I'm grateful that I have a podcast. I got a couple of podcasts that I run. That's kept me busy. I have this one podcast that I think is starting to take off. It's called Where's the Grief? If you guys haven't heard of my podcast, it's not really your typical comedy podcast, but I do interview mostly comedians who have experienced tragic loss on my podcast. Not all comedians. I do interview other sad people too. But I do find that as comedians, it's weird to have an experience that's hard to bring to the stage. Not everything is really ripe for comedy, but there are still jokes to be made. I feel like comedians especially, we have like a really dark sense of humor when we're around each other. Like, when you can get a laugh from a comedian that, will get you banned from almost any other group. I feel like, like open mics are the only place where you can have a full scale mental breakdown on stage and have it be misdiagnosed as a good set. So I'm always grateful to have, people in my life that have been able to be open about some of the tougher things. Cause grief is a hard thing. I've done jokes about it. Jokes about grief are tough. I try telling audiences all the time. I go to a support group for bereaved siblings. And that is a great sentence that you can use if you ever need to get out of a conversation. Usually followed by me being alone with my thoughts again. You're welcome. So I don't know if I have more time. I don't know if there's somebody's giving me a light, or if I just, keep going until people leave.
You're good about now whenever you want to go.
Whenever I want to go.
Yeah. You can
Well, let's
stay
see.
till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. I think I did all the jokes that I wanted to do here. I will say this, that, I'm always grateful to have other people, and, that these shows are still existing. The arts is a tough business even before this. And I have to say that comedy clubs themselves are obviously not an essential business, but I think comedy is an essential part of life and of humanity. And I am grateful to be a part of a community that not only supports it, but goes out of its way to support each other in all of our endeavors, and making sure that we still have stuff to laugh and smile about despite the craziness that we're living through. So thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to spread some joy. Thanks.
Hey, give it up for Jordan. Great job, Jordan. Yeah. Man, so Arnold Schwarzenegger lives with some donkeys. Yeah, about the only ass I live with is myself. But I don't know. Anyway, let's keep this going. I'm going to bring up your next comedian. Very funny guy. Let's give it up for Franz Kyle. Franz! Yay!
Just so you know, this is an example of how white people don't understand black people.
Uh-oh.
Second, this show yet? Isabel, you're going to get all of my fans, just so you know. Anyway, black people, right? I mean, they're out protesting for civil rights, trying to stop police brutality, all of these things. You know shit is fucked up when there's a very good chance that you're going to get sick and die, but it's so bad that you're willing to go out and protest in the streets so that you don't get caught by the cops and get beat and die. These are the first time that we ever had actual protests like this. I remember when Rodney King was actually beat up by the police and they were acquitted, and the president at the time, George, and the whole country erupted. Like there were protests, looting, fires, all types of stuff. And George Bush, who was the president at the time, knew that he had to appease black people so that the entire country didn't burn down. And let's just think about that for a second. George Bush now is looked upon in history as the good Republican. But anyway, George Bush was there and he said, you know what? The Honorable Thurgood Marshall is retiring this year from the Supreme Court, and I need to provide something of substance for black people to feel good. And what did he do? He gave us Clarence Thomas. Think about that for a second. That was not the Christmas gift that black people were looking for. It was like the Tuskegee experiment all over again, and you gave us all syphilis. So finally, white people were like, all right, we are going to make it up to you. And what did they do? They acquitted O.J. Simpson. Black people celebrated all over the country. Why? Because we were like, we finally got one over on you. I remember when I was working and the acquittal came out, all the black people in the company, all 10 of us, decided to a conference room and silently celebrate over the fact that OJ was acquitted. And we did it silently because bonuses were coming out soon and we didn't take it out on us. Now, don't get us wrong. We knew OJ did that shit. And we felt bad for the victim. But we were like, meh. Reparations can get messy. So now things are different, right? Now the protests are out there hand in hand with white people. We're out there together asking for change, asking for us to really look at the country and make it better. And white people are showing how much they care. But really, white people, you're taking it a little too far now. There's just some shit that black people didn't ask for. For example, realtors taking out the master room in their realtor listings. What? You think that's the shit that we're worried about? Master bedroom sounds like luxury to us. What I fucking and a bath right next door. This is amazing. Bedroom, that's where I'm thinking about bringing the gag ball and the restraints and the whip just to keep things between me and my wife. Master bedroom, that's where you draw the line. Not doing predatory lending or redlining so we can actually in the fucking place. And then you have Nancy Pelosi and her fellow Congress people taking a knee and actually wearing kente cloth for going into the halls of Congress to create laws to stop police brutality. Don't get me wrong. I love good kente cloth just like everybody else, especially on the high holy Kwanzaa holidays like Ujamaa and Kujichagulia. But none of that shit is gonna save me when police are beating my ass on Malcolm X Boulevard next week. And then I think about Gone with the Wind. You decide that, take that off of the streaming services. And white people showed us. They went out there and bought all the copies on Amazon and Apple TV because they were just like, we love our epic Civil War dramas. If I learned two things from this is number one, white people love their epic Civil War dramas. And two, frankly, niggas, we don't give a damn. The NFL has now gotten involved in all of this, and they decided that they're going to have us play the Black National Anthem before all the preseason games. Newsflash, Black people don't even know the words to Lift Every Voice. Do better. But my favorite thing that white people are doing, they gave us Juneteenth off. Thank God Trump put you up onto this. That holiday that's going on since 1866. I felt a little gypped because this year you didn't give it all the pomp and circumstance that basically you give all the other holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. But I figured I'd give you all a pass because you didn't have a lot of time to plan. But next year, I am waiting for all the gifts, all the grandiose plans that your non-diverse marketing teams are going to come up with. Sort of like, you know, buy one, get 3/5 off the next one. Or we will not be slaves to these high prices. Or buy her that special chain that she's used. Don't let sales run away unscathed. Or buy one and let the rest of the family get broken up for free. And don't worry about the return policy. We have our return policy is second to none. And then there's NASCAR, who came out and said, we're going to stop waving the Confederate flag at all of our races, and we're going to make it so that it's not allowed for our fans to actually come through. And then I thought about it and said, wait a second, white people, we actually asked you for that. So thank you. That's my time. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Franz. Give it up for Franz. Good job. Good job. Okay, let's see who's up next. All right, we're gonna keep this going. Go right on along to a very funny lady. Let's give it up for Lorraine.
Hey guys, welcome to my closet studio.
Yay!
We've moved the show into my closet. So I want to say to you that I'm old. Well, actually, okay. To be more politically correct, I'm a senior citizen. So I get to collect Social Security. I get to have a Medicare card, whether I want one or not. And I'm eligible for AARP. Yay. Okay, but I'm also very happy to take advantage of all the privileges that of my senior citizenship awards me. There is an evil pleasure in going into IHOP or Denny's and being able to order off the senior menu. And then staring your server in the eye and mentally dare them to ask you for your ID. And you know the whole time the server is standing there going, and my tip is now exponentially decreased by the privileges I'm getting. But they don't dare take back on service, because if you ever seen an angry senior, ever, I mean, the scariest words out of a senior's mouth, I want to speak to your manager. You know, at the end of that conversation, the senior is now going to own the restaurant and that server's ass is fired. Now, as a senior, I'm lucky. I'm not on any meds, which is good. I don't need anything. Thank you. Knock wood here in my closet. Because I really don't like going to the doctor. On any daytime visit to a doctor, you'll be able to witness seniors in their natural habitat. And it's one of several herding locations. This one is like the rec center, but without the chair yoga and the refreshments. And like I said, I don't like going to the doctor because I find it absolutely absurd, the questionnaires they hand you when you walk in there, because obviously the questions are all one size fits all. My particular favorite is, when was your last menstrual cycle? About the same time as your last blowjob. Now, I'm probably right. But if I'm not, I'm now a medical miracle. And you know, they load you up with this paperwork. I think it's really truly to kill time, because they are continually behind schedule on appointments, which really isn't their fault, because it takes some of those old folk about 15 minutes to get to their exam room. I truly believe what they should have is motorized seats, so that they can just ride them right in, and they're in there in like a minute. Save hours of time. Now, my husband, he is not a true senior. He's a pseudo senior. He is he's not eligible for Social Security, but he does kind of squeak by on the 55 plus menu. And now we've been together for 31 years. And our last conversation was our wedding vows. He is absolutely the worst communicator ever. And I'm sure every wife in the world says this. Every wife feels that they have the worst one, but I'm convinced there's a club of husbands and I have the president. And he is a trophy husband. I mean, he really is. It's a participation trophy. So now I've been on Facebook for like 11 years. Okay, I was a progressive senior, but I'm still not my husband's friend. I took a stand and I told him I will not convert him through an app. But I wish there was like a little 5-minute pop-up friend thing that you could do so I could fuck with him and change my relationship status to widowed. Now, you know the way Facebook works, by the time he gets the notification, the damage is already done. There will be hundreds of things on his Facebook page saying, "Miss you, guy. Really, rest in peace." But we do communicate through text, okay? They're the most boring conversations you would ever want to read, but we do communicate. So it's like, dinner, okay. Taking the dog for a walk, good. Now these are auto responses. I don't even have to look. I just press any button and it'll work. Going out for cigarettes. Don't come back. Well, that will start a conversation. That's my time, folks. Have a great night.
Hey, give it up for Ray. Hey. Too bad they didn't have apps back when I was married. That would have been, we might have been still there. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, let's keep this going. Let's give it up for Stuart Gibble. Stuart, very funny guy. Let's give it up. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, 2020, a pandemic, a lot of protests. Thank God the year is almost over. I mean, we've lost some people, and we lost a few statues. I like to say this. Fuck the statues, okay? I like seeing Confederate statues coming down so much. I want them to put them back up so we can take them down again. In fact, I think we should make it a college sport. And whoever is best at taking down statues will have to put up a statue of them. Of course, it won't stand, but that's the point. So I think we're going to make it through this. It's going to be tough, but there's something coming up, an annual event that happens, and as soon as it's over, we forget about it, and we're not ready for it next year. And I'm referring to pumpkin spice. Every year, it starts out slowly. You hear a few commercials on the radio that let you know that pumpkin spice lattes are here, okay? And they say only for a limited time, okay? The pumpkin spice latte is a gateway drug. It's how the virus enters the mind, because everything must be pumpkin spice. I hate going to the grocery store this time of year, because every aisle is an opportunity for every marketer to pumpkin spicify their products. There's cookies, there's candies. I mean, pumpkin spice Kit Kats, come on. There's rum, there's breakfast cereal. It doesn't end. There's pumpkin spice Spam. Spam stands for spiced ham. It's doubly redundant and doubly spiced. And then you have pumpkin spice dog treats. What did those poor animals do to deserve this? They gave up being wolves to sleep on our couches, and now we give them pumpkin spice. But there's one aisle I refuse to walk down during pumpkin spice season, because I know there's going to be a product there sooner or later, and that will be the end of Western civilization. And that is the feminine hygiene aisle. Because I know sooner or later, Summer's Eve is going to change their name to Autumn Evening and have a full line of pumpkin spice douches and God knows what else, feminine sprays and all that crap. And I'll say it now, when that happens, we deserve to die, okay? So if we get through the pumpkin spice season, and it's an if we get through it, we're gonna head off into an election. Now, for the most part, I think the election will go our way, except for people in Georgia who, you know, we'll have to wait 8 hours in black neighborhoods to vote, but I think we'll get through the election, and I think it will turn out okay. But as soon as that happens, we're looking at Thanksgiving, and we're looking at a lot of relatives with a lot of pushback who are going to get drunk and tell us how wonderful Trump was and how bad Biden's going to be and blah, 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 blah. The only way to survive this Thanksgiving is to pregame. I suggest you start drinking November 8th or 9th at the latest. Get drunk for a full 2 weeks. You may survive, but I need you to sober up because as soon as Thanksgiving is over, we have to start the war on Christmas. Okay? And it's going to be tough this year, just like Thanksgiving, just like Election Day, just like pumpkin spice. The war on Christmas is going to be brutal, but you know the rules. Okay? Only say Merry Christmas to people who are Jewish, Muslim, Hindus, or atheists. Okay? Save your happy holidays for the people who celebrate Christmas. That's the way it's going to work. Okay? You have a problem with that. You go to the people who started the war on Christmas. You know who they were? The Puritans. Massachusetts Bay Colony, it was illegal to celebrate Christmas. Okay? And I know it's going to make conservatives even more paranoid than they were before. In fact, Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, said that if Trump loses, Republicans will be hunted. Yes, he said they'll be hunted. He didn't say if they're going to be hunted for sports or for food. Although, if it's for meat, I'm going to become a vegetarian. Because there's no amount of pumpkin spice is going to take that bitter ass meat and make it tasty. So forget that. I'm also wondering about when we hunt Republicans, is it going to be forever? Or is it only going to be for a limited time? Thank you. My name is Stuart Gibble. I'll put my info in the chat. Thank you very much.
Hey, Stuart.
Good job.
We're going for Stuart.
Wonder if it's going to be duck season or wabbit season. That's how they.
Rabbit season.
I would think duck season.
You're going for duck. I'm going for rabbits.
Bugs was way more liberal.
All right, let's keep this going. Let's bring up our next funny comedian. Let's give it up for James DeSalvo. James! Woo!
Thank you. All right, the protest in the news has brought to light more things like microaggressions. Have you heard about these? Like little unintentional racist assaults on people? Like going to an African American, oh, you speak so well for someone of your ethnicity. Or Asian American, so where are you really from? And yet I realize, have I had that? And I'm like, yeah, my name is DeSalvo. I'm Italian. I get this all the time. Oh, do you have family in the mafia? Well, yeah, but that's a whole other story. Do you like The Godfather? Oh, who's your favorite soprano? And the worst one ever. Oh, the Olive Garden's great Italian food. So my wife and I were fooling around the other day, and I know you look at me and go, ooh, that's gross. But that she has to suffer through it more than you do. So I'm trying to unhook her bra like the old days, be smooth. And I couldn't. I've lost that skill. You know, so I realized, all right, I could never this with a really big breasted woman with giant bras. There's too much involved. This is a Rubik's Cube of hooks and pulleys and straps and levers and everything else. By the time I get the bra off, I'd be too tired for sex. Yeah, I know she could do it, but I like puzzles, okay? Say, all right, I had to go online, download the plans, get an engineer to help me figure this whole thing out, get the protective gears for the time they pop out, I don't get killed. Yeah, horrible. Also a teacher, I've noticed this time of the year, graduation, big plans, everything else. Every year is a big trend where parents actually get their daughters' breast implants for graduation. Now, is it just me, or isn't this something you should do if your daughter can't graduate high school? You failed math and science. Well, get in that poll, honey. Make it rain for daddy. It's all right. And yet, I can't go to a nudie bar myself. First of all, they're petri dishes with breasts. Second of all, again, being a teacher, I'm afraid I walk in and see a former student up in the poll. Oh, there's Mr. DeSalvo. He's the man who made me who I am today. And who's the person in the late 70s? I'm a 70s kid who decided what actresses would be sex symbols. We had Brenda Vaccaro, who was like the Emma Stone of today, wasn't everything, but you can't name one thing. And Margot Kidder, you know, Lois Lane, Superman, but they had these gravelly voices like they were smoking a carton a day. They were sponsored by Virginia Slims. So I can just hear them on set right now. Okay, I got to shoot this, but I had to leave at noon. I have a throat scraping. Okay, thanks. Great. Oh, God, I'm sorry. That's just a tar ball. That's fine. And had a Fanta soda the other day. Realized why it sucks. It was invented by the Nazis. It's true. They couldn't get soda over in World War II. They made their own. What was the advertising on that? Fanta for the master taste. Fanta, it's the right stuff. Fanta, exterminate your thirst.
Oh,
And there's so much pretentiousness out there right now. It just makes me want to slap the white off some people. These people I overheard in their new hobbies. Oh, I'm taking up candle making. Oh, I'm doing soap making. Somebody was taking up blacksmithing. Where do they live? The 1850s? Oh, you know, we need more land. I'm going to knit some smallpox blankets and give it to the natives. That'll be great. And there are other pretentious phrases. Oh my God. Oh, Game of Thrones. I don't watch TV, please. Oh, I took a gap year and, you know, backpacked through Europe. It was great. Oh, the book was better, please. I only watch foreign films. Vinyl has a richer sound. Comic books, I only need graphic novels. All right, please. The original film was better. And of course, the best one, I don't see color. Living that smug life. All right, thank you very much. That's what I have for you tonight. Take care.
Hey, James.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, keep it going for James. All right, we're just gonna keep this right on rolling. We get to have our second female comic of the evening. Uh-oh. Let's give it up for Isabel Perry. Isabel!
You said female comic. I wasn't sure what I was identifying with today. So I was like, oh.
Was that good or bad? Was it bad?
Today I feel pretty female, so that's good. So
Do
that's
you?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel female because I prepped for a diet I'm about to start on Sunday.
Oh.
And by prep work, I mean I ate all of my snacks. So there's nothing in my house now but like spinach and lemon. You know, how come we share streaming accounts but we steal cable? I don't know. I donated to one Democrat. Now all the Democrats pass around my email address like it's COVID at a Florida beach. I read somewhere that Italy was hit hardest in Europe because it has the oldest population in Europe, which, you know, means that the virus is very on brand. Can you imagine like living in your luxury condo in a gated community and it all of a sudden becomes an accelerated hospice care unit, you know? Like suddenly 65 is the 21st century like average lifespan. And cross that one off the list, y'all. That was great. I clicked on one Facebook ad for vitamins and now I know the name of every single superfood on the planet and where it's locally sourced from. So, you know, for shits and giggles, I go on the website and I'm looking at all the owners. They're all white. And they all take the same stock photo of preparing food in a minimalist kitchen. Or they're out on a field somewhere surrounded by their brown workers. They all promise to donate proceeds to a smiling brown child on the website. And I'm like, who's that kid's agent? You know? I think I'm going to email all of them and be like, I want the proceeds of my purchase to go directly to the smiling brown child. Or I'll take a discount for your wildly expensive product, reparations. So celebrities in quarantine on social media. Have you noticed like they always hold their cameras in these really tight frames so we can't see the palatial space behind them? I thought quarantine was going to be some sort of class equalizer until I realized that people were doing that shit in mansions with pools. So they're still God's chosen people, just without all the hair and makeup. So if you've ever done 23andMe or had a black friend who's done 23andMe, you basically know that Europeans were too lazy to head to East Africa.
Oh,
Oh, that's bad.
Did you guys like that one? Was that good?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's killer.
Yeah. God, I'm happy. Anyone remember the SpaceX Dragon launch? I feel like so much has happened within the last 8 weeks. I bet Trump's already written his name on a rocket. I saw tweets of Elon Musk talking about the launch years ago and people saying all this inspirational shit like he dreamed it and it came true. And I'm like, okay, fine. But also he's a billionaire. And if you pay people to help you with your dreams, they will happen. Because I can tell you, as of today, nobody has volunteered to help me make my movie about a plus-size mermaid who has an orgy with a bunch of shipwrecked sailors and faces discrimination in the merc community, both for her size and her interspecies sexual appetites. Does anyone want to pay for that? We'd be careful, because I think those rich white guys, when they were launching that fucking rocket, they watched their cab ride off of Earth, where they're going to build their master race on Planet Musk, sponsored by Amazon. I like to think I'm just like one opportunity away from being a millionaire, when the truth is I'm just a paycheck away from tricking for Purell, I've been taking long walks. I'm in Atlanta. I've been taking long walks in Atlanta. Because of all the history here, I like to imagine I'm walking on the same roads that slaves walked, And I think here I am, my ancestors' dreams, pursuing a career in entertainment with $100,000 worth of debt, newly single with geriatric eggs, living off of an hourly wage. And I was like, this is who they imagined when they were out on the fields picking cotton, That's great. I think I need more black people for that one, you guys. I'm blaming you guys. I'm blaming the demographic for that one. I'm thinking of doing a retrospective of all the black people who died first in horror movies. Is there some sort of like method acting school for spies? Because all of the fictional undercover detectives go from like working class stiffs to Juilliard actors. So I don't get that. You ever calculate how much of your life is spent charging electronics? No? All right, fine, you guys. That's great. I feel like young black men have appropriated pole dancing from middle-aged white women trying to find themselves, and nobody's really talking about that. So. I thought I would. All right, thank you guys so much.
All right, give it up for Isabel. Good job. Keep it going. Yay. All right, are you ready for your headliner this evening? Oh, yes, the headliner. This gentleman has a podcast called, what is Not Just a Kid, right, James? Is that what it is?
Podcast is done.
Done?
It's done.
Oh, man.
I don't want to get canceled. I had to fucking throw it all in the fucking waste bin.
Oh, man, that's not good. I was on that podcast once, I believe.
Yeah, yes. I know.
Hey, all right, so let's give it up for James Camacho. Woo!
Hey, how's it going, everyone? All right.
good. It's good.
That's good. Good to hear. Nice to do comedy on Zoom. I actually like doing this stuff. I'm feeling pretty positive this week. They released the baseball schedules on Monday. I'm a big baseball fan. I don't think they're going to play in front of people, though. I think they're going to play in front of cardboard cutout fans. So I guess those are the box seats. Yeah, leadoff home run, baby. I love it. I am a mixed race, as some of you might know. I'm a halfie. I'm Chinese and Puerto Rican. That's why I look like Adam Driver doing K-pop. And I like being mixed race, but it was a weird growing up mixed race. Like you just don't feel like you belong in either group, you know. Like anytime I go to a Chinese function, I always felt Puerto Rican. Anytime I go to a Puerto Rican function, I always felt Chinese. Every time I go to a white function, I just feel poor, you know. But my girlfriend's also mixed race. My girlfriend's Indian and white. Pretty good. Our kids are gonna be X-Men. That's very nice. I like that our kid's gonna be 4 different races. Isn't that crazy, man? He's gonna have like all these amazing traits. He's gonna have Chinese work ethic, Puerto Rican pride, Indian leadership, and white privilege. Hell yeah. Always wanted that. Yeah. I'm actually quarantining my girlfriend. We've been quarantined since March, 24/7 a day, hours a day, 7 days a week since March. It's been wild. I learned something about myself from being living with a girl, that I am a slob, man. I'm the dirtiest person in the fucking world. I know nothing about cleaning products. We went shopping the other day. My girlfriend's like, "Oh, we got to get bleach." I'm like, "Bleach? What do you got, coronavirus? What the fuck are you talking about? Bleach? You're going to kill me? Bleach?" She goes, "No, I use bleach to clean the bathroom." I'm like, "Oh, then what's with the rope and strychnine?" Yeah. But I love my girlfriend. She's great. She's very, very politically correct, very woke, super liberal, which is weird because her middle name is Karen. Yeah, a PC person with the middle name Karen is like a Jew with the middle name Adolf. It's fucking yeah. So with all the racial stuff going on, we've been having a lot of uncomfortable conversations, which you gotta have now. You gotta educate yourself. You can't be John. Racial stuff. Oh, the fuck. Who cares a shit? You gotta have these conversations, man. You fucking got. I know. I was fucking talking to this guy the other day. He got so mad when I brought up race. I'm just trying to chill and have a beer. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how is that your mentality? How are you gonna learn anything if you don't talk about it? You know, talking about race should not be harder than talking to your fucking crush. You know, like you bring up race, people shouldn't be like and run away. I'm just saying, if you don't talk about race, people are going to continue to suffer and, be treated poorly. Imagine if people got treated poorly if you didn't talk to your high school crush. I would have got my first rejection at 8, All right, talking about race is tough, though, man. I mean, I feel like anytime I try to talk about race, I'm always wrong. You ever feel that way? Just no matter what you try. Like, I was talking the other day to this guy, and he goes, your life has been great. You're privileged. You have never been through it. Just shut up. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right, I'll stop talking. And he goes like, oh, what are you, complacent now? I'm like, what the fuck? Do I talk or not talk? Like, what the hell do I do? So I literally feel like I just walk down the street and I do the wrong thing. I got called for a cultural appropriation. As someone brought that up, someone accused me of that. I was wearing Jordans. They're like, you're appropriating black culture. I'm like, yo, they're made in China. I didn't even know until you brought it up. Now I'm fucking pissed. Also, I don't wear Jordans because like I'm cultural appropriate. I wear Jordans because they're cool. I think I'll get laid if I wear them. That's the only reason. I don't wear clothes for any political agenda. I have a gut. I gotta hide my tits. That's why I wear baggy shirts. I'm not trying to be black. I don't you know what I mean? It's fucking and I'm poor. I only buy things I can afford. I wore a flannel the other day. This guy's like, what do you think, you're white? I'm like, no, I got it at a thrift shop for $3. What the fuck? I'm not appropriating. I'm poor. Jesus Christ. I get it though. Like I don't want to say like it's not a thing, cultural appropriation. Like I'll give you a perfect example of it. Like Kim Kardashian had this lingerie line. It was based off the Japanese clothing, the kimono. Now I get why that's cultural appropriation because the kimono is like traditional Japanese garb. and she's sexualized it for the lingerie line. So I get, and she's profiting off it. I get why that's fucked up, you know. I also found it surprising that like the Japanese people were so mad about it. They should be mad about it, but like usually Asian people don't really complain much, you know. Like we've been saying they have little eyes and can't drive and have tiny dicks, and they've never said anything. But then Kim Kardashian puts on a kimono. They're like, you know what? That's the fucking line right there. That's bullshit. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, if you're copying someone's clothing or whatever, I feel like you should be flattered. They're copying because they think you're cool, you know. If some 5-year-old kid was like, I want to be like you when I grow up, I wouldn't be like, you're a fucking bigot, Brad. All right. Let me try this one. You guys feel like half your time spent outdoors is for running back home because you forgot your mask? Every day I get down the block, fuck! You fucking run back home, run up the stairs, you know? I feel like forgetting your mask is like forgetting that you're poor. Once you go outside, you're like, I can't fucking do anything out here. Shit. Yeah, we're gonna have to tell our grandkids about this one day, right? I feel like we're gonna change the term before Christ PC to before coronavirus. You know what I mean? I can see myself telling my kids, like, yeah, you know, back in the BCs, we used to do a thing called body shots. Oh, yeah. The fucking best time. But this is a tough time. I've been eating way too much. John, you've been saying you've been eating less. That's fucking crazy, dude. When I'm alone at home, I am so bored. I just eat everything in my fucking fridge, dude. Isolation is not good for me. When Tom Hanks was in isolation, he befriended a volleyball. I befriended everything in my fridge. I'm literally talking to tubs of ice cream. Like, Ben, what's up? Jerry, you vanilla fuck? I think the scary, you know, all jokes aside, this coronavirus is very scary. Like, you know what scares me the most is when people have funerals and no one can go. You see that shit? You can have 10 people max at your funeral, which is like, it's got me thinking, like, can I even get 10 people to my funeral? Who would go to my funeral? My mom, my dad, maybe my girlfriend, Ben, Jerry. That's it. I can't think of anyone else. The Redskins are changing their logo. I feel bad even saying the fucking word. If it's a slur, we shouldn't even say it. But the Washington football team, they're changing their name finally. But here's the thing. It's like, before he changed, the owner, Daniel Snyder, before he changed it, everyone was like, you're a piece of shit. You need to change it. Fuck you. And now he's changing it. And people are like, you only did it for money. Fuck you. I'm like, I mean, you shouldn't be rewarded. You know, you should have done this a long time ago. But like, where's the fucking like dance on the dead body? You know what I mean? Like where's the, you know, fuck you, I won. That, you know, where's that like celebration? They go straight to like, well, fuck you anyway. You're still a piece of shit. It's like, I don't know, like when I graduated college, I fucking blacked out for like a whole month. You know, I partied, I went crazy. I had a graduation ceremony. I enjoyed it. I didn't go straight to these fucking student loans or fucking college is bullshit, you know? All right. I don't know what the fuck I even said there. I was talking about microaggressions earlier. This is not funny, but did you know that saying work hard, hard work pays off is a microaggression? Did you know that? If you work hard, it's a micro, because not everyone's equal. So they say like, you know, you work hard. If you say that, you're just implying that basically like some people are born with shittier circumstances. And if they work hard, it's not the same. So it's a microaggression, which I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that's a microaggression? Saying work hard, hard work pays off? You think so?
Depends on the context.
Yeah, it's more like a motivational quote. If someone goes, hard work pays off, they're just saying, you know, try your best. They're not, I don't think they're being a dick, you know? It's like when you say, what's like, I don't know. I work hard. So when people say this, it kind of offends me, which I guess is the whole point of the whole movement. All right, let's move on. All right, I'll do one more. I think I'm doing too much time here.
Good.
Oh man, I wrote all this shit, and you know what's funny? I've done like 100 of these Zoom shows, and I went on stage the other day. None of it worked. And they work on here, but you do them in person, and then you see people's fucking their eyes like. Where's the funny sucker? You're like, oh God, you guys suck. All right. Cancel culture. All right, let's just do this. My girlfriend, we're living together now. She just met my parents, which was nice, but it went great. But when my girlfriend and my mom met, something weird happened. Like they like Mariah Carey their voices. Like I know girls do this sometimes when they meet other girls. They fucking raise their voice and they get all cute, you know? Like they're like, "Hi, it's so nice to meet you. Oh my God, so nice to meet you too. I love your dress. I don't know how you stand James. Oh my God." I'm like, what the fuck? And it was just weird because I've never heard of these voices from either of them. Whenever they talk to me, they're mean, they growl, just do the dishes and shut up. What the fuck? Isn't that weird? The closer we are to people, the worse we treat them, right? Like if your parents are like, eat your vegetables, like, all right, leave me alone, just leave me, please. If your Tinder date's like, eat your vegetables, you're like, hey, people really care about me, huh? Life is good. All right, that's my time, even though there was no light. Thank you, Santa.
Hey, all right, give it up for James. And give it up one more time for everybody that was on the show. And give it up one time for the audience. We appreciate the audience. Thanks for coming in. You guys like this? We tend to do pop-up shows on Thursday nights. So come back and check us out again. And have a great evening. Thanks, everybody. Bye.